What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dom, and back today with another Kindred Leaf rip. Actually, we're not gonna do a review today. Me and my boy Holden here, we're gonna talk bullshit about cigars. Y'all get ready, stay tuned. Be right back. What's good, y'all? We back in the lab today, and I got a special guest. Holden, introduce yourself, man.
I'm Holden, and me and Dom have known each other for, about 8 months or so?
Yeah, about 8 months or so, yeah.
Chad introduced me to the Kindred Leaf, and I've been a big fan ever since.
That's right. And Holden, honestly, is the most distinguished gentleman I've had a pleasure of knowing thus far. Whenever we get together for cigars, this guy is always dressed to a motherfucking T. That's a beautiful man right there. So today, I just wanted to get on here with my special guest and just talk about cigars. Didn't want to do a cigar review, but generally just wanted to talk about, etiquette, what makes cigars great in our world and realm, what we like about them, what we don't like, and, maybe talk about the cigars that we're smoking a little bit. What do you think? That sounds good?
Yeah,
so
good.
So what did you bring today?
I brought with me the Gloria de Leon.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this one yet, actually. And I also brought with me what's kind of become my favorite daily smoke of the year, the cane Maduro.
Yeah. I noticed with the canes, too, they kind of seem a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I think they use a lot of Ligero in their cigars, which is pretty cool. So, hey, man.
Yeah. And they're not horribly expensive either, so they're a great thing to just put in your humidor and let them, or just have one for a daily smoke.
No doubt. Hey, I got that Micallef Experincia. So I've never had this one either, Holden. So I'm interested to see what this is about. I'm really trying to dive more into Sumatra blended cigars, and this one right here has a lot of Sumatra in it. So I guess we'll see what it has to offer.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get set up real quick, and we'll be right back, and we'll get these cigars cut and lit. Y'all stay tuned. Man, every time between cuts, I keep fucking my lights up.
We need to have a blooper reel.
I probably need to with this one. But yeah, we're getting ready to light. I chose to go with the guillotine cut with this one. What you got?
I got a V cut. I always tend to prefer a V cut if possible. It's kind of hard when you have like a torpedo shape like this one, but I've never really had an issue with a V cut before. It always cuts. You get that nice airflow because it cuts a little deeper.
Do you tend to use them with wider gauge cigars, or does it matter?
If it fits. If it's too large, then it just won't get deep enough.
Okay.
And at that point, you might as well guillotine it.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why I tend to go with the guillotine, double guillotine. That's pretty much what this is. And I don't know, man. It's just honestly gives me a nice universal cut. But it depends on of course, the Vitola. If it's a pyramid, I'm normally go with the V cut. For something like this, straight cut is good with me.
Yeah. Do you punch cigars often?
I do. And what I like to do is if it's a box press cigar, I like to punch it because I notice if I guillotine cut those a lot, it likes to unravel on the cap.
Yeah, because of the weird shape. Yeah. I actually, when it comes to box press, I like the V cut because it's not cutting in a circular way. It's cutting kind of right down the middle.
I can dig it.
I found that it worked best. I don't like to punch so much because I feel like if you put too much pressure on it, you're damaging the stick. And I don't like being gentle with it.
Ladies. Anywho, man, and I always notice when we get together and smoke our cigars, Holden loves to use matchsticks to light his cigars. Explain that a little bit.
I find a lot of people love to use the what are they called?
A torch.
A torch to light their cigars, and I like to use a torch at times too. But I find that with matches, it's such a soft flame that it's harder to accidentally char the cigar. Whereas with a torch, it's very easy to accidentally char it. And if you char your cigar, it has that kind of foul taste for a little bit, kind of bitter, and I don't like that. So I like the fact that, again, I don't have to be gentle about it. I can just bring the flame right up to the end of the cigar. And
Yep, I totally agree. I think it takes more patience when you use the matchsticks, but again, like you said, the flavor, you want to really get that flavor nuance from the cigar, and if you aren't careful with the torch, you definitely can get some off flavors on it, and that's a no bueno. I'm sure I messed up a lot of cigars over torching it.
Yeah, it's very easy to do, and I always recommend for people who are definitely newer with cigars to go with matches because it's just harder to mess up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the torch. He's gonna go with the matchsticks. Let's get these bad boys lit up and go. I'll tell you on a lineup, etiquette. As I'm sitting here pulling tobacco from my damn mouth. One thing I can't stand is if you're in company with somebody else with a cigar, or you go to a cigar lounge and they get a cigar and they need a cut, but they didn't bring a cutter. But here they are sticking the cigar in their mouth, wetting it up or whatnot, and they want to borrow your damn cigar cutter. I can't, man.
That one bothers me, and the other one that bothers me a lot is when they get done with their cigar and they stamp it out. Because it just creates that foul smell.
That is another one. I mean, when you're done with your cigar, just place the cigar down. It'll automatically go out on its own. You don't have to sit there in the ashtray and do all this, because it creates a foul smell from all that soot from the cigar, and it just lingers in the air. So always be good to your friends and just let the ash go out by itself. So look, we're off to the races, man. You know what? Yeah.
I think I got you beat a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And you probably saw that I could bring the flame right up to the end of the cigar and not really worry about charring it.
Exactly. And it's long enough to allow you to do all that too. So that's pretty neat. And look, it's good. It's lit.
And you can get a box of like 600 matches for like $10, $15. So it's relatively inexpensive. A torch will be cheaper over time. But
Yeah. But then you always got to worry about having fuel and whatnot. I've gone to plenty of cigar lounges and I brought my own torch, and then next it goes out. And I'm like, I just filled up this damn thing before I left the house.
Yeah, especially since I feel like with torches, you have to spend a lot to get a really good torch.
Yes.
Whereas with matches, you pay a little bit more for your cigar matches because they use specific chemicals to not alter the taste, but it's still so
right, and it's pretty clean. Do you when you light? Do you how long before you put that matchstick to your cigar before you start to light your cigar?
So what I usually do is I toast the foot a little bit until it starts to get a little bit of smoke, and then I go in to create the cherry.
Okay.
And then you probably saw that I needed 2 matches, which is not a huge deal. But you just kind of make sure you got an even burn. This one's a little uneven, but it's...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's typically kind of how it starts off with cigars, because you're trying to get that burn right. Like mine is wavy on here on the end right now, but it'll fix itself. But yeah, I think it'll work out fine. I guess when it comes to matchsticks, I always worried about the sulfury part of the match when you light it up. Mm-hmm. So you have to have the wait till that burns off, right? And then you can light your cigar with it.
It's generally good to do, though. I can't really taste a difference though either way. Because I think by the time you're done toasting it, it's already past that point anyway.
No doubt. Okay, well, what we're going to do right quick is just reset and readjust here, and we'll be right back here with more information with my boy Holden here of Kindred Leaf. Y'all stay tuned. All right, kinfolk, we're back, powdered up, ready to go again, getting deep into our cigars, man, and I'm enjoying it thus far. I'm having a few issues with my my cigar cracking. I think it's got a thin wrapper, but this ain't a cigar review, so I ain't gonna go there. How yours hold up, bro?
It's holding up pretty good. Construction is solid. Mm-hmm. It's a very thick outer wrapper, so I think it's holding on pretty well. As you know, I had a humidity issue not too long ago, But I think I finally solved it.
Man, and I'm getting some flakiness too, which leads me into asking you, what do you think about ash management? Like, in regards to when do you ash? Like, how do you ash? Do you ash? What's the proper way to ash?
I don't think there's any proper way to ash your cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dennis Prager actually put this really great. You want to ash before the ash falls on you. But I like to let it fall when it does, because the ash actually can act as a filter.
That's right.
And kind of helps cool the end of the cigar so it doesn't overheat. So I don't like to just get rid of it every time it, gets about an inch. But
yeah,
at the same time, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Because you never know when it's gonna go. But when you when you get a little more experience smoking cigars, and once it gets long enough, you can kind of tell when that damn thing is gonna fall.
Yeah, it'll start to curve a little bit.
Yep. And sometimes, like, what I like to do is, depending on what type of ashtray I have, if it's one of these cigar stand ashtrays, you can kind of just lightly roll it on that little, I don't know what the hell you call that, ash knocker offer thingy.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fall off, then you're good.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll lightly tap the top of the cigar, and it'll come off on its own as well.
Exactly. Because, like, it's kind of embarrassing, but not really, when you're at the cigar lounge. Next thing you know, it just falls in your lap, and you're like, damn.
Yeah. That's why gray is one of my favorite colors.
Yeah. And then the funniest part about going to the lounge, or even inviting somebody over to the garage, and I don't judge. I'm going to put that out there. If you come to the garage / the lab and smoke a cigar with me, I will not judge you. But here's some of my pet peeves about it. Okay, so whenever I bring somebody into my place to smoke a cigar, I'm down to share every single cigar I got, because I believe cigars are meant for sharing. And it is what it is. But there are some people out there that expect you to come off of your cigars. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I would never go into anybody's house expecting anything from them, because I'm a guest. Like, if someone wants to give me something, that's great. And, I'm more than willing to thank them and return the favor. But I'm not going to walk into someone's house and be like, I need a drink.
Yeah, but I've had those friends who don't ever buy cigars. They don't even have a humidor, And I wouldn't say anybody here in this local area, but I've had them to where they don't have their own sticks, and every time they're around you, hey, can I get a cigar? Can I get a cigar? I can't even say it right. Can I get a cigar? You're like, damn.
Or they act like it's impossible for them to get a cigar by themselves.
Yeah, and it's probably them not wanting to really dive into the habit too much, because, well, I wouldn't say habit, I would say hobby. Dive into the hobby, because it is a hobby.
Cigarettes are a habit, cigars
yes,
are a hobby.
Exactly. And I would like to think that it's not an addiction for most cigar smokers. It's a hobby. I
kind of view it as irrelevant either way when it comes to the whole addiction versus, because you could become addicted to anything.
Very true. And if it comes to a spot when you need to have it, or you're chain smoking them, then that's an issue. That's a definitely a problem.
An issue?
No, no, I don't. Look, if you're pounding 18 a day, do you? But that's a little bit more than I can handle. That's for damn sure.
I just couldn't afford to smoke that many cigars, but I probably could.
Yeah, you got that right. But yeah, just always enjoy it safely and smartly, and
well, and also it's an issue of, if it adds to your quality of life, then I think it's worth having. Because sure, there's some negative health side effects to smoking, drinking, but if you do it in a way where it adds to your life, it doesn't take from it.
That's right.
I think it's an overall positive.
That's right. I mean, it's our chi, man. It's where we meditate, where we get our grounding and just be in our thoughts. Yeah, exactly. We're good to go, and I love it. I love these times where I can get to the garage and just be by myself, or even have the wife down, and she'll sit there and just watch TV or be on her phone while I'm smoking my cigar, and we just sit there and enjoy together. And she'll tell me, "Babe, that one smells good," or "Babe, that one stinks." I think another funny thing though is can you always spot a novice smoker? You ever get somebody around you that says, I smoke cigars, and then when they finally sit there and smoke a cigar with you, you can tell that they don't really smoke cigars?
You can always tell someone who doesn't do it regularly, but I wouldn't say there's any such thing as an expert cigar smoker.
Yeah.
Because it's not a hobby that's extremely complicated.
That's right.
You can get as deep into it as you want to get into it, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of guys enjoying the company with a device that allows us to get together and have something to talk about.
Right. I guess, in a sense, there is no right or wrong way, but there's ways that I guess experienced cigar smokers have developed to where they tend to believe that, no, this is the correct way of doing it, that way is wrong. So, like, I guess for one situation could be where when you see somebody cutting a cigar, okay? Let's talk about that. So you see a person go to cut their cigar, and they go way below the shoulder and right down to where it just starts to flatten.
Yeah. And, I mean, with some cigars, they can get to a point where they're so tight that you feel like you have to cut that deep. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you start cutting that deep, the risk that the cigar is going to unravel is way higher. And you don't want that. It's going to be a crappy experience.
Right.
Looks like you're having a little bit of...
Oh, yeah. I'm having a lot of issues. And I'm, like I said, I've been looking at it, monitoring it. This thing is splitting open like you wouldn't believe. Like, I'm going to have to end up putting this one down, putting it to bed. You know, not... See, he handed me the cane here. Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I'm gonna put that one down, man, because it's... let's get a close-up of it. Matter of fact, I'll take a picture of it, and I'll show the viewers what the hell's going on here. All right. I'm not even going to cut the film. Look at this shit. Come on, man. Come on, man. I keep my cigars about 70 and 70. So they're humidified well. They're in good temperature range. So that's not an issue. I just, sometimes you get ones that do that, and sometimes you don't. That's all right. But I don't want to take a cigar, man. I'm gonna grab one. Okay. But thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
No problem at all.
I'm gonna cut the tape, go grab another cigar. We'll be right back. Y'all hang tight. All right, kinfolk, we're back at it. I had to go up and get a different stick, man, because I wasn't about to sit here. Look, they always say there's no such thing as a bad cigar. It's just a cigar that you did not like. And I did not like that one.
I think there is such a thing as a bad cigar. Falling apart on you is pretty good criteria.
Yeah, that's right. So I went with the Street Tacos, the Barbacoa by Rojas. Pretty good stick. I enjoy it. And that's what I'm going with now. So I'm going to light this up while we sit here and chat a little more and get this thing going again. So I was sitting here thinking, Holden, what's your go-to cigar?
My go-to cigar? Well, it's hard to say because it's always changing, right? Mm-hmm. But what I look for in a cigar is something that's probably a Maduro, something that's a little darker. I have a pretty solid tolerance, so I can handle smoking very strong cigars and a lot of very strong cigars.
So it's Maduro, probably your favorite leaf? I'm sorry?
I would say it is. I enjoy other leaves as well, but when it comes to what I prefer the most, I definitely prefer the strength of the Maduro. Also because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Maduros have to be aged a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. I find that I have fewer condition issues with Maduros.
Right. Yeah, but then there's even Maduros out there that are light, and really medium-bodied cigars.
Yeah. And I also find that the Maduro wrapper itself, it's dark. It has a lot of dark notes, but it's also got a little bit of sweetness to it with most of the Maduros that I've tried.
Yep. It's all about that fermentation. I think the longer they ferment the tobacco, the stronger it'll get. And the Maduros are right in that range where they're aging it a lot longer than the other tobaccos.
So let me ask you, do you have a favorite stick?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Again, so I am into the boutique side of the house where it comes with cigars, something like this, or a lot of things that come out of Ezra. because it's against the grain. It doesn't fit the criteria of the norm, you know. And I think, you know, that to me it just sits better in my style of where I like to smoke. The cigar industry, I mean, it's changing right now, you know, and there's a lot of strife in it right now because a lot of the newer guys out there are trying to, you know, do different things, do newer things. And then you got the older guys who are like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't how it used to be. And there's a lot of issues out now where the FDA thinks that, you know, a lot of these cigars are getting, you know, what do you call it? Marketed to kids, you know.
Well, because there's that fine line of trying to market to my generation, the younger generation, and marketing to children. I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot of cigar manufacturers with billboards, you know, with young kids or anything like that, or trying to make cigar smoking look cool.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. You know, there's tons of alcohols out there that's fruity or this and this and this and that, but you know they're not getting any strife from it. It's, you know, if you're bringing your kid to a cigar lounge and doing this, then I mean that's on you. But it's not marketed to children, and I don't, even with my kids, I don't sit there and say, ooh, this is I don't want to say anything, and I'm not going to say anything specific to any company or anything, but you know, if it's got a character on there or whatnot, I'm like, ooh, look at this character. You know this character. No.
Yeah. Well, and with cigar lounges, most cigar lounges won't even let kids in. I actually got kicked out of a cigar lounge when I used to go because I wasn't 21.
Get out.
And actually, fun story, on my 21st birthday, I went back to that cigar lounge. And that's where I had my first drink.
You're like, here I am, bitches. What was your first cigar? Do you remember?
My first cigar, I actually had my first cigar on my 18th birthday. My mom's going to see this and she's going to be upset. But I got a Rocky Patel 1990.
Okay.
And I drove my mom's car to the golf course because that was the only place I knew where I was able to smoke at.
Yeah.
And
hi, Mom.
I'm probably getting a phone call later.
Yeah, but did you find that you liked lighter cigars when you first started, like Connecticut's or whatnot?
I didn't really know what I was looking for. I was just kind of, because after that, I didn't become a habitual cigar smoker until I got out of boot camp and I was finally making money and I could, you know, go to the cigar shop and buy as many as I wanted.
Wow. I think you got me, man, because growing up for me, I was introduced to it by my stepdad. You know, he had, but these were like not high-end cigars at all. These were not like your $10, you know, premium sticks. We were smoking Phillies, Titans, you know, from the gas station, that type of shit, and it was terrible. When you smell a cigar and that nasty cigar funk stink, that's what those smell like. It's cheap tobacco, man, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
I didn't know anything about premium tobacco. I just was out there chilling, drinking a beer, and having a cigar.
Right. Yeah. For me, it was kind of like an image thing because a lot of the people that I admire and respected were cigar smokers. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's a big cigar smoker.
Right.
Winston Churchill, there's a cigar named after him.
That's right.
You know, guys like that I really look up to and you know, wanted to emulate.
That's dope. That's dope, man. What do you typically drink with your cigars?
I'm a whiskey guy. Mm-hmm. And of all the whiskeys out there, I tend to prefer scotches because they have a little bit of fruitiness and spice to them. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting thing because unlike a lot of other liquors where I feel like there's not a whole lot of nuance to it, whiskey, there's so much to the whiskey industry that you can find new things even in same brands, just different batches.
Yeah, and you know what? If you find a good one that'll marry well with your cigar, it just creates a better experience too. I for myself, drink whiskey. I'm a rum guy. I'm a tequila guy. But a lot of times I just drink water. If I'm smoking a cigar, especially a new cigar that I've never tried before. because it won't take away from anything, and all I'm getting is the pure, experience with the cigar. So yeah, loving it whiskey, and I got an Infinity decanter now, so I'm just mixing different stuff with it, and it's pretty cool experience too. But Chad is my local whiskey expert.
He's a really good expert on bourbon. He was really into the bourbons, and I totally respect it. I got bourbons that I really like. Yeah. It's just, for me, bourbons tend to be a little more woodsy than other whiskeys. You can find scotches like that too.
Right.
I feel like scotches tend to have a little bit more depth of flavor to them.
Yep.
Ever so gently.
Mm-hmm. But then you run into a problem of, if you have a cigar that's super spicy or super smoky, it cancels each other out, and you won't really get a good balance, maybe.
Or like, if you ever had Ardbeg 10?
Yes.
So I was drinking Ardbeg 10, and then I went to smoke Connecticut, and it was basically like puffing out air. Like, I couldn't taste anything.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm not into those super smoky scotches, and I probably get a lot of strife in the comment section about this, but that's fine, man. It's too much for my palate.
Yeah, I love smoky scotches. I wouldn't call them my favorite, but they're an interesting experience if you've never had one. And if you haven't had an Islay Scotch, I highly recommend Ardbeg or forgetting the name. Lafroig. Lafroig 10 is also a really good smoky Scotch. Lafroig is really good for beginners trying to get into Islay because it's not as harsh.
Yeah.
Ardbeg can be a little difficult if you're not used to a peated Scotch.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas Lafroig is still, it's a little sweeter, it's a little fruitier. Yeah. It just has that smokiness on top of that.
Yeah, I just haven't found the one that I really enjoy yet. So to me, it's just, it's almost like going into the charcoal grill and grabbing the charcoal and just chewing on it because it's just too smoky.
Yeah, like the Ardbeg 10, I really get a lot of kind of like meat notes to it. It almost tastes like a sweet ham.
Okay. I can get with that. I like ham. If it tastes like ham, sign me up. So again, one thing I like about you is your style. Man, you got some style, you got some class, and it's like when you get into this cigar, you get into the cigar. And it's, I don't know if it's a lifestyle thing or it just really gets you in the moment, but man, you got to explain, like, why do you get so prettied up, handsomed up, man, when you go to these lounges?
Well, I mean, I think everybody has their own style and things that make them comfortable. For me, a great outfit is like a work of art, and it's a way for you to express yourself, and it's a way to have fun with it too, where you can mess with different colors, different patterns, and it's another thing where there's so much depth to it.
Yes,
I love digging into classic menswear because it's a way to look great.
Yes,
it's a way to express yourself, and it's a way of standing out.
Do you dress like this all the time?
No.
Okay.
For one thing, I'm in the military, so for me, I just can't wear a suit every day. I would if I could. But I wear t-shirt and jeans just like everybody else does.
Okay.
I got polos and khakis, and I have more casual things too.
Yeah.
But this is the type of thing that I just feel at home in.
Okay. I only ask that because any and every time that I've been able to hang out with Holden, he's always dressed like this. So I don't think he owns a pair of jeans at all. So it's good to know that you're regular. But there's nothing wrong with that, brother. I appreciate your style, man. That's why when we normally go, I normally wear something like this when I'm going to the lounge. And I feel like, damn, I'm dappered up. I look good. Until he shows up. Then it's like, man. But the cool thing is, it's not a competition, man.
No, it's not. And that's what I tell people all the time. Dress the way that you want, because that's what I'm going to do. And I would never want people to dress differently to feel at home in my presence. I'm not that type of person where I'm going to look down on someone for dressing the way that they want to. If you're comfortable in basketball shorts and, a wife beater, good for you.
Yeah.
Because we can all get together and still enjoy great sticks and good whiskey.
Yes, man.
It's that brings us together, and not what we're wearing.
Exactly, and that's honestly the spirit of Kindred Leaf, and the reason why I just really wanted to come up with something that represented everybody, and just kind of welcomed everybody into our umbrella, and to be able just to come, not worry about shit, smoke your cigar, join the conversation, and just get a load off, and talk. We've got individuals who deal with the side of the house. We're dealing with mental issues or whatnot, and being able to have that escape and have folks around you that are dealing with maybe similar stuff, it allows us to really relax, man, and feel comfortable.
There's a great a poster I saw recently, and it was a display of it had a cigar right in the middle. It said, "Cigars are my therapy."
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more. Like, this is the way that we kind of take a step back and recognize what's actually important.
Exactly, man. And again, I just like the fact that you can do it by yourself or you can do it with a friend. Yeah. I'll sit here out here by myself, man, and just be happy as a goddamn clam. But
and the thing is, if you're by yourself, smoking a cigar forces you to relatively sit in one place. And if you're by yourself, you can contemplate all kinds of different things and just think about whatever is on your mind.
Yeah. I mean, there is a such thing as a lonely drunk, but not a such thing as a lonely cigar smoker.
No.
Coined it. So are there a lot of individuals in your circle or in your age group that are getting into the cigar smoking world?
There are a few. I think most of my generation is moving on to more modern things.
Okay.
I'm just one of the weird exceptions where I revert to the old way of doing things because I see there's value in it.
Okay.
It's one of those things, like I shave with a safety razor and I get a great shave out of it, and it's another example of where I've seen where our ancestors did it and see why they did it that way.
Exactly. So what makes you believe that some things don't need to be changed? Some things kind of need to stay the same. Some things, but when we modernize, we make it more difficult. Like the Mach 3 when it came out, 3 razors, 4 razors. Like, who needs that many damn razors on their face?
It's human nature to want to do better and to expand upon what has already existed. There's just a certain point where I think we value different things, and thus, I think one of the big things that we value today is convenience.
Yes.
Which is why things like the Mach 3 are as popular as they are. It's convenient for people. Because, shaving with the safety razor, it's not very convenient because it takes longer to do. Yeah. And, but I get a much more comfortable experience out of it, and that's what I value.
Do you know what a Star Crunch is? The little Debbie snacks?
I can't say that I do.
Okay, so a Star Crunch is like this little cookie thing. It has a lot of, like, Rice Krispie stuff in it covered in chocolate, but it's like bumpy. Mm-hmm. So if I were to shave with a Mach 3, my face would look like a Star Crunch. Just saying. There's folks out there that know what I'm talking about. Holla at me if you do. But do you think the cigar industry is dying?
I don't think it is. I think it's going to become more specialized, is what I would say. It's not necessarily going to explode. It's probably going to remain about the same size, but the people who are invested in the hobby are going to be looking to do new things with it that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a certain amount of value in that approach rather than trying to get everybody on board with smoking cigars. Because I understand that it's not going to be for everybody.
Right. And honestly, I'd rather it to remain one of these niche things that stays like in certain groups of communities, because once it blows up too much, we get regulated even more. Yeah. And then it's going to be harder to find and hard to get. The prices are going to go up. So it's pretty good. I feel the same way too. I don't think the cigar industry is dying, but I do like the growth that I see in it, and I didn't realize how many women smokers are out there.
Yeah. You ever heard of Cigar Vixen?
Yes.
She is a great example of someone who's leading the charge and getting more and more women involved in the hobby. And, like, to a certain extent, like, cigars used to be kind of a boys' club or a men's club, that type of thing. But I think it's much better when more people are involved who are passionate about it.
Exactly. All right, we're going to get reset here, come back in, and keep the content flowing. Y'all stay tuned. All right, we're back, and we're probably nearing the end of this session here. We got a lot more cigar to smoke, but yeah, we've got a lot more to smoke, but we'll close out the video, and we're sitting here just kind of chatting in between takes and talking about music and just kind of jamming out to some old blues or whatnot, and which brought me to ask Holden, man, what is your go-to music you like to listen to with smoking?
When smoking, I like to listen to a lot of jazz. I really like Sinatra, Dean Martin, but my favorite artist to listen to is Artie Shaw.
Okay.
He's one of the biggest swing jazz artists from the 20s. Just a really great musician. There's almost no lyrics to it. It's just really nice to listen to.
Oh, such a classy man. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I like to listen to a lot of Cuban jazz, blues, of course. It just gets me in a mood, man, where I can just veg out, man, and just not think about shit. So that's what I like. And I gotta ask you, if you could be anywhere in the world right now for a cigar escape, where would it be?
It's a good question. I would love, assuming that it becomes available in the future, I would love to go to Havana and have a Cuban where it all started.
Yeah, man, you're right up the alley. What I was thinking. I was thinking of that, and I was also thinking of like a beach somewhere in Nicaragua, or just in Dominican Republic somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen pictures though of Cuba, and it's a place lost in time because it almost looks exactly like it did from the 1950s. Like all the cars are from that era. Like all the buildings are like that or older.
Yeah, they just keep it classy over there, man. All the classic cars and whatnot. And of course, the food is, got to be phenomenal.
Yeah, the rum's got to be spectacular.
All right, man, you went there now. you went there on that, but man, just sitting on the beach somewhere, hearing the waves crash, and just the sun hitting you. I've experienced that, and I want that again. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we really don't get that.
Yeah.
Certainly not this time of year. We're getting a lot of rain.
Yeah, like I would never want to live in that climate because it'd be hard for me to dress for that kind of climate. But
he'll still pull it off. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's ways.
Exactly. But I got to tell you, Holden, man, I appreciate you coming out with me today and doing this video for myself and the viewers out there, and just enjoying this cigar session with you, man. It's always a pleasure having you. Always a pleasure being able to just have that brotherhood with you.
Absolutely.
When we're out and about. So, any closing thoughts for the folks?
Just want to say thank you for having me. It's a great time, and we got to do this again sometime.
Oh, for sure. So, let's close it out, man. You know what I always say. You be Kindred Leaf. Be kind to one another. Until next time, we'll see you again.